Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about these guitar mats. I had a subscriber reach out, said he was looking all over for these, and unfortunately you're not going to find these. He asked if I had them up for sale, and once upon a time I did. I do automotive upholstery for a living, so this was just something that I did for myself. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. I don't have the software yet to do all this fancy stuff, but I will eventually get it so you can see this kind of stuff without me showing it to you on my phone or computer. So this is a 1932 Ford, and this is the way that I would get a vehicle. I specialize in cars from 1920s to 1970s, but I will do newer stuff too, as long as the airbags and heaters are not incorporated into the seat covers. So anyways, this is the way that I will get a car, and when I'm finished with it, that's the way it looks. Everything is handmade. So that's why I have these custom guitar mats. So let's talk a little bit about them and why that they're not cost effective and people probably won't buy them. To start with, the backing is called a snapback. So it's like an 1/8 inch. Where are you going? Come here, big head. Come on, if you run around. Really? Go play. So anyways, this is called snapback. And it's like an 1/8 inch rubber on a 1/4 inch piece of, I don't know. I'll show you at the shop today. After this video, we'll go to the shop. So anyways, this is snapback, and this stuff is about 29 bucks a yard. And then there's 1/2 inch sewing foam in between that. That's about 15 bucks a yard. And this material here that I used is probably about $24, $25 a yard. So just the materials alone, you already got quite a bit of money racked up. And then it would take me maybe an hour or two to sew all these pleats into it. Now this one here I did in diamonds, and then this one here I did in like a square pattern. It's still a diamond, but more square than diamond. So the other thing too is each and every one, if I was to make them, would have to be custom made. For example, I made these ones to fit a standard guitar, Les Paul. Got a little bit of room on each side, top and bottom. So if you take that in consideration, let's look at like a 335, 135 style, just barely makes it. So if I was to make one for a 135 or a 335, I would want to actually make this a few inches wider, like here on the Les Paul. Then the other thing too is if you have a baritone or a bass, you guys stay on the table. Don't be getting down. So I don't have a bass per se right now, but I do have this bucket head, which is a 27 scale. And if I lay that right here to the edge, we just barely make it. So again, for a bass or a baritone, I would have to make it a few inches longer. Now it looks like even though this has got an oversized body on it, it would definitely still work. And again, this is up to the preference of the person that wants it, because it'd have to be custom made to their guitar. So I guess that's really all there is to say about it. Is each guitar is different, the width, the lengths, that kind of stuff. Let's see what a Strat looks like on here, because they're a little bit different shape too. So yeah, the Strat has plenty of room on the Les Paul sized mat. I need to clean this. I'm getting a lot of dust debris in there from polishing and stuff, but The nice thing about these is they are made out of marine vinyl, automotive vinyl, so they're real easy to clean up. I use this Sprayway glass cleaner. Let me get my guitar away from it. So after I'm done, I mean, usually I'll run the vacuum around it and get the dust particles and stuff out, but I'm doing this just for, well, so I don't make the dust mud. I'm just gonna show you on this one. So I just take my glass cleaner and I spray it down. I use a towel. Normally I use a towel to do this. This is the shop towel, so they'll be disposable. So just to get general dirt and dust off, this is what I use. If I get some kind of grease or oil or something like that on it, I can use an Acrylic Clean DX330 or DX320. And all that is basically just a prep solvent that will eat glue and grease and stuff like that. Fingerprints, because I use that to wipe down the car before they... What are you doing? Both of you guys are being a pain in the butt today. Any other time you guys come down here and you hang out just fine. Get up here. So yeah, the Acrylic Clean DX320 and 330 is what they use to wipe down a vehicle before they paint it and stuff. So I will use that from time to time if I get something greasy or oily on it. But that's not very, very often. More in the automotive industry than it is here in the guitar stuff. So, yep, I made these just for this fact. The nice thing about them is they are a 1/2 inch thick sewing foam in between the rubber mat. It's not going to scratch your guitar. You can clean it off very easily. It looks good. You can sew whatever design you want into it. They're real hard to move around. I mean, they do move, but they have that rubber backing. So even on this really smooth table, it doesn't move easy at all. You have to really put some force and pressure into it. So what I am going to do, to the subscriber Rick that had reached out about these mats, he said, you know, what would you charge for them? What would you have to have for one? I don't know, because I made these for myself. I made one for my father and one for a friend of mine, and those are the only 4 in existence right now. So I'm going to make Rick one. I'm going to keep track of how much material, how much time it took me. And here's the thing about it. This is another reason why it's not going to be cost effective. Okay, so I've already told you, you got roughly $75 almost in materials without shipping. And when I order materials from my supplier, they come on a 56-inch wide roll, of obviously 36 inches up is a yard. So the shipping is always astronomical, and you want to order enough yardage to make that shipping worth shipping. So that's another reason it's not cost effective. But here's the biggest kicker. Because it is a snapback, basically a piece of 1/4 inch rubber, even though I'll show you again at the shop, the rubber itself is probably only 1/8 inch thick, but then it has a really thick cloth backing on it. So it doesn't bend. I can't fold it, and if I do, it's gonna ruin it and make it look like garbage. It's gonna crease it and all that, and the whole point of it is to lay flat. So this would have to be shipped like a guitar. Now the box wouldn't have to be as thick or quite as big maybe, but I would have to take some really thick cardboard and basically sandwich this together like a big envelope and send it like this. So the shipping is not going to be cheap on something of that size. Now, I know an empty guitar case, depending on where it goes in the country, I can send it for about 36 to 40 bucks. So I would imagine This is lighter than a guitar case, so I would imagine this would be in the $20 to $30 range to ship. But again, I don't know. And once you cross a certain point in the United States and you're going to California, they really bend you over the table on the shipping on certain things going to California and other places. So again, it's up in the air. I really have no idea what it would actually cost to produce these and send them out, but everything here is all custom made. This thread alone, this is what they call the bold stitching. That's what you get in your seats of your sports cars and stuff like that. That thread right there is $200 for one spool of this bold stitching. Now I do have orange, red, white, black, a tan. I got quite a few of these bold stitching. The other pain in the butt about it is when we go to the shop, I'll show you my machine. I have a big industrial 36-inch head on a 7-foot table, and it has a hard time running this thread. You know, I got the right needle and stuff for it, but because it's so thick, when it goes down and the bobbin catches it, it's still being caught with the smaller thread. And a simple sewing line right here could trash this whole piece if I had all this sewed and I'm down here and then it really screwed up. So it's touch and go with this thread. I don't like using it, but it looks really good, especially when you're doing it in the seats of a car or a truck or a boat. So I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna make Rick one. We're not charging him for this. It's just going to be a courtesy thing for our viewers. Well, for our viewer, I'm not going to do this for everybody, but if this does work out for Rick and he tells people about it and more people become interested in these, it might be something that I could work out and do. But it does take quite a bit of time and effort to do this. Again, I made these two for myself, so I spent all the extra time sewing in all these diamonds because I thought it looked pretty cool. And then that one over there, like I said, it did the squares. I also started working on the Princeton chorus, which you guys will see when we go to the shop today. This stuff doesn't work out on everything. I started to cover the Princeton chorus cabinet, and it's way thicker than Tolex. I guess I'll just have to wait and show you when we get to the shop. But yeah, it's a thick material, so it's not like the Tolex on your cabinets. That stuff is like paper thin, and this isn't. So I have a cover all sewed up for that Princeton chorus cabinet, and I started to put it on, and I realized everywhere where there's a seam and all that stuff, I'd actually have to take a Dremel and just route a ditch in for the seams to lay. And I just don't think a 2x10 1980s Princeton chorus is worth all that time and effort. So what I'll probably do is order a new cabinet for it and stain and lacquer it, and then truck bed coat the other cabinet and kick it down the road with the old hardware. So just a quick update on that, something to talk about in this video, because this was strictly just about the guitar pads here. So I am going to head off to the doctor's, well, actually to the hospital, and get my infusion, and then after that we will stop. Yeah, we'll stop at the shop. I don't know where I'm going. Trash can's over here now. So we'll stop at the shop and we'll go over all the materials and stuff like that, and I'll show you what I do to make these. So again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Show your buddies if you guys are into amateurs that don't know what they're doing but like to try. That is me. And if you guys know people that are professionals and they like to get a really good laugh, as somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, tell them to subscribe, because I'm always doing something crazy. I got a couple of the videos coming up on the silver burst. I did some crazy things to this that you're gonna go, what is he doing? Why would he do that? And I made a conclusion video because the two videos where I was doing awful things to this, one is like 30 minutes long and one is probably 15 minutes long. So if you guys don't want to power through those, well, what I was doing with this and to it, I did make a conclusion video. So it will be the third one, and they'll be labeled, so you don't have to bore yourself with watching me destroy this in the first two videos, but you can go to the conclusion video and watch that. But we did get quite a bit of finish checking on this, and it went through quite a bit of trouble to get to this point. So stay tuned for that. And we're going down to Lay's this week to get that third pickup routed in. I ordered a bunch of more parts for this, so we'll have some unboxing here shortly. And I think that's just about it. Put my guitars back where I want them here. So I think that's about it. Just a real quick follow-up on Silverburst and mats. We'll get to making one of those today. Yeah. Okay. So again, yeah, thank you for watching. And Rick, stay tuned. We'll get your mat to you. We'll talk back and forth through Reverb there, and we'll get your colors and measurements. So stay tuned. We'll be at the shop later today. Have a great one.